Hi, you guys. I'm here to remind you of the story of Joseph when his brothers had sold him into slavery. And when he went to come back to Egypt to get food because the land had plenty, and he had wind up meeting his brothers, and he had wind up like grabbing, like catching them. But in the last attempt, before he had told his brothers and them who he were, he had to explain to them that don't worry, stop your worrying, because the only reason why y'all done what y'all done is because God had a plan to make me ruler over the land. So in the end times, when that time come where y'all wouldn't have no more food, that I was going to be in charge, and so that I can take care of your father and his his kids and his tribe. So it was a promise, even though Joseph had to go through what he went through and his brothers and them caught him in slavery, it was for the better. Okay. And so it reminded me of the story about Judith. And for all these things, you will need faith in this hour, and don't let it go. So the same thing that the enemy had used Judah to plot on Jesus, the enemy did that same thing to Judah. But see, that's what God teaches us and tell us about. You live by the sword, you die by the sword. So the same plot and twist that he did on Jesus, guess what? He wound up allowing the devil to do the same plot and twist on himself. And that's what happened. He took his own life. He couldn't forgive his own self. So I tell you, in this season, whatever we do, come to God, repent, and just know that God is a forgiving God. God is a loving God. Don't forget who God is because of what you've done. Don't let that anger and that build up of portrayal of lust or whatever we going through in the moment or in the seasons or the things that keep you away from God. Every time you trying to go into God and draw back in near to God, something always plotting on you and telling you he not going to forgive you for this and he not going to forgive you for that. Remember, God came down to save his people, and so you have to be reminded of that belt of truth, that breastplate of righteousness, that helmet of salvation. That way you can have the shoes of peace and always abide in God. So remember, stay in prayers. And just remember that it dwells in you, and I love you, God. Mwah.